video model is intended for the use with an 8th grade English language arts lesson on identifying tone and mood. The goal of this video is for the student to be able to read a passage, identify the tone and mood, and explain why they think the passage has that particular tone and mood. We're going to go through all the steps of this process so that you know what to do when you're trying to identify the tone and mood of a passage. Step 1 is to read through the passage, so we're going to do that now. One sunny spring day, John decided to take his puppy Buster for a walk in the park. The two strolled along the path until they came to meet another dog. Buster walked boldly up to her, sniffed her, barked happily, and then the two dogs played. In the meantime, John chatted with the other dog's owner. He found out that her name was Susan and that she went to the same school as him. Susan and John talked for a while, then waved goodbye and parted ways. As John and Buster made their way back home, the sun began to set. Step 2 in the process is to identify words that the author uses which can indicate the tone. The tone is based on the author's word choice. When you're going through the passage and trying to find words that indicate the tone, think about what other word the author could have used. Let's start going through. At first, it says one sunny spring day. The author could have just said one day, but they decided to use more descriptive language that gives you a happier picture in your head. The word puppy also makes us think of a little cute dog instead of just the word dog. The two strolled, which sounds more relaxing and casual than just using the word walked. Buster barked happily is another thing that the author decided to tell us. He could have just said barked, but the descriptive word happily makes us think of a more positive image. John chatted with Susan when he ran into her. Chatted sounds like it's casual and fun and a nice conversation instead of just using the word talked. At the end of the passage, it says that the sun began to set. The author could have just said that it was getting late, but instead he chose to say the sun began to set, which makes you think of a bright and happy sky. Step 3 is to identify the tone of the passage. So when you look at these words that the author chose, you can think of a positive image. It's very light-hearted and nice. Step 4 is to identify the mood. The mood of the piece is how it makes you feel while you're reading it. This passage has a very happy and cheerful mood. It makes you feel good. So you could use any word similar to that to describe the mood. Step 5 is to explain your reasoning for the tone and mood that you chose. The way you can do that is to just look back at these words that we underlined, and that is your explanation. You can say how the author could have used another word, but chose to use this word to make the passage seem more happy overall. Let's go back through the steps that we used to identify the tone and mood of this passage. For step 1, we read the passage. For step 2, we identified the words that indicated the tone. For step 3, we identified the tone. Step 4, we identified the mood. And step 5, we explained our reasoning. If you don't feel like you were able to complete the goal of this video model, which is to be able to read a passage, identify the tone and mood, and explain why you think the passage has that particular tone and mood, please rewatch this video and review the steps.